Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Could the Miami Dolphins be gearing up to sign cornerback Rasul Douglas after parting ways? With star cornerback JALEN RAMSEY, who was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dolphins find themselves needing to rebuild their defensive secondary. The trade also sent tight end Jonnu Smith out of Miami, but that position has already been addressed with the acquisition of the unretired Darren Waller, a notable addition to the Dolphins' offense. However, the cornerback spot remains a pressing question mark. With Kendall Fuller also released earlier in the offseason, Miami's depth at corner is thinning, prompting speculation about their next move. Among the free agent corners available, Rasul Douglas, a 29-year-old veteran, has emerged as a plausible target. Douglas's experience and skill set could help the Dolphins stabilize their defensive backfield as they prepare for the upcoming NFL season. Though nothing is set in stone, Miami is actively exploring options to fill this critical gap. Rasul Douglas's recent journey through the NFL makes him an intriguing prospect for Miami. After being traded mid-season from the Green Bay Packers to the Buffalo Bills in 2023, Douglas stepped into a full-time starter role with Buffalo. During that stint, he registered 87 tackles and 13 pass deflections, showcasing his ability to contribute consistently on defense. Despite some mixed results, such as allowing 4 touchdowns and a passer rating of 122 when targeted, Douglas proved he can handle significant playing time at the NFL level. His familiarity with multiple defensive schemes and resilience in coverage give the Dolphins a potential option with both experience and upside. At 29, he's not a rookie, but still young enough to provide stability while Miami continues to develop its younger defensive backs. The Dolphins' defensive backfield, featuring emerging talents and veterans alike, could benefit from Douglas's veteran presence. Miami's pursuit of Rasul Douglas ties closely to their salary cap situation, which remains a crucial factor in any potential signing. The Dolphins currently boast roughly $14 million in cap space, providing some flexibility to bring in a veteran cornerback on a short-term deal. Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald has reported that negotiations between Douglas and the Dolphins have been constructive, with both parties not far apart in terms of contract expectations. This suggests a deal could be finalized as training camp approaches. A 1-year contract for Douglas could serve as a low-risk, high-reward move for Miami, allowing the team to add depth without committing to a long-term contract. Financial prudence, paired with a clear defensive need, makes Douglas a logical target, especially compared to other available free agents who might demand more money or longer commitments. In addition to Rasul Douglas, the Dolphins have several other cornerbacks on their radar. Names like Stephon Gilmore, Mike Hilton, Asante Samuel Jr., and James Bradberry have all been linked to Miami as potential free agent signings. Stephon Gilmore, a seasoned veteran, recently announced his intention to continue playing for a 14th NFL season, showing he still has the passion and drive to compete at a high level. Asante Samuel Jr. and James Bradberry also bring considerable experience and could fit well in Miami's secondary. The Dolphins' strategy appears to focus on blending youth with veteran savvy, ensuring that they have enough depth and leadership in the secondary to withstand the inevitable grind of an NFL season. Douglas's name stands out because of his recent starting experience and ability to cover various defensive responsibilities, making him a strong candidate in a crowded field of cornerbacks. The departure of JALEN RAMSEY was a significant loss for Miami's defense, as he was one of the team's premier cornerbacks. His trade to Pittsburgh created a void that the Dolphins must fill quickly to avoid defensive struggles next season. While RAMSEY was known for his lockdown coverage and playmaking ability, the Dolphins now face the challenge of rebuilding around a core of younger players and new veterans. The presence of Douglas could help ease this transition, as he brings a mix of physicality and experience that can mentor emerging cornerbacks like Asante Samuel Jr. and others. Miami's defense is in a state of evolution, and finding the right mix of players to replace Ramsey's impact is critical. Signing Douglas or a similar veteran could provide that needed boost and help maintain competitive defensive play. Darren Waller's return to Miami as a tight end also impacts the team's overall roster construction, freeing up the need to draft or sign a new tight end. This allows Miami to focus its attention and resources more squarely on the cornerback position, which suddenly became more urgent following the offseason moves. Waller's presence should provide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa with a reliable target, giving the offense an edge while the defense gets reconfigured. This roster balance is important as the Dolphins look to contend in a tough AFC East division where defensive strength will be key against teams like the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots. The cornerback spot, therefore, must be fortified not only with skill, but also with players who can contribute to the team's culture and defensive schemes, making Douglas a valuable potential addition. While Douglas's recent statistics show some vulnerabilities, such as the touchdowns allowed and passer rating, these numbers don't tell the full story of his value. His ability to generate tackles and defend passes consistently is a testament to his football IQ and physical skills. Furthermore, his experience in multiple defensive systems means he can adapt quickly to new coaching and schemes, something Miami will need as it refines its defense under its current coaching staff. Versatility and adaptability are highly prized in today's NFL, especially in the secondary, where matchups vary week to week. Douglas's proven track record as a starter, combined with his professional approach, could make him a stabilizing presence in the Dolphins' defensive backfield, helping younger players grow while also contributing on game day. The Dolphins' front office appears to be balancing financial responsibility with competitive urgency as they evaluate cornerback options. The presence of nearly $14 million in cap space suggests they are prepared to invest, but likely in deals that are short-term and performance-based. This approach limits risk while maximizing potential return on investment. A player like Rasul, Douglas fits perfectly into that mold, a veteran with starting experience, still capable of producing solid results, and likely open to a one-year prove-it deal. The NFL offseason is often a chess game of timing, money, and opportunity, and Miami seems positioned to make a smart move on a cornerback that can contribute right away without disrupting long-term plans. Looking ahead to training camp, the Dolphins' defensive backfield will be one of the key storylines to watch. If Douglas signs, it could signal Miami's commitment to blending experienced veterans with their developing young talent. How the Dolphins handle this cornerback situation will impact their defensive identity and ability to compete in the AFC. The addition of a player like Douglas could bring confidence and depth, potentially turning a vulnerability into a strength. On the flip side, if Miami waits or opts for younger players, the defense may face growing pains early in the season. This decision will be crucial for the team's playoff aspirations and overall success in 2025. Fans and analysts alike will be paying close attention to Miami's moves in the coming weeks. Ultimately, the potential signing of Rasul Douglas by the Miami Dolphins is a fascinating development in their offseason story. It represents the team's efforts to rebound from significant personnel changes and build a balanced roster capable of competing in a challenging division. With experience, adaptability, and a clear need for cornerback depth, Douglas offers a logical solution for Miami. However, with several other free agent corners available, the Dolphins will have to act decisively and smartly to secure the best fit. The coming weeks will reveal whether Miami moves quickly to finalize this deal or explores other options. Either way, the cornerback position remains a pivotal piece of their defensive puzzle as they gear up for another competitive NFL season. Stick with us and show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? Hey folks, let me tell you about a blockbuster rumor that's been buzzing around the NFL world, and it involves none other than the Miami Dolphins making a jaw-dropping move that could shake the league to its core. Imagine this: JALEN Ramsey, arguably one of the most dominant cornerbacks in the game, being traded for MICAH Parsons, the electrifying linebacker who has taken the league by storm. Yes, you heard that right. The Dolphins, who have been quietly assembling pieces for a championship, run might be pulling off a historic swap that could rewrite the balance of power in the AFC and beyond. This potential trade is more than just a player exchange. It's a strategic chess move that sends a signal to every team that Miami is serious about contending now. The buzz has fans and analysts alike debating what this means for both teams, defenses, and their championship aspirations. Let's dive deeper into why this rumored trade is causing such a stir. JALEN Ramsey is a lockdown corner, a true shutdown artist who can single-handedly neutralize the opponent's best wide receiver. His ability to read the game, combined with his physicality and elite coverage skills, makes him a cornerstone for any defense. On the flip side, MICAH Parsons has revolutionized the linebacker position with his speed, versatility, and relentless pursuit of the quarterback. Parsons isn't just a linebacker. He's a defensive force that can rush the passer, cover tight ends, and disrupt plays across the field. The idea of trading these two talents isn't just about swapping players. It's about exchanging defensive philosophies and retooling schemes to maximize their strengths. For Miami, acquiring Parsons could mean transforming their defense into a more aggressive, dynamic unit, while the other team could shore up its secondary with Ramsey's elite skills. Now, imagine the impact on team chemistry and locker room dynamics if this trade comes to fruition. Trades of this magnitude don't just alter game plans, they reshape the entire team culture. JALEN Ramsey, known for his confidence and vocal leadership, would bring a new level of swagger and intensity to his new squad. Meanwhile, MICAH Parsons' work ethic and versatility would inject energy and youth into the Dolphins' defense. The coaching staff on both sides would face the challenge of integrating these superstars into their systems while managing expectations. Rumors suggest that Miami's front office has been in quiet but intense discussions, weighing the potential benefits and risks. The Dolphins fan base, already buzzing from recent moves, might be on the brink of celebrating an unprecedented shakeup that could propel their team into serious playoff contention. There's also the strategic angle to consider here. Trading Ramsey for Parsons is not just about filling positions, but about redefining defensive identity. The Dolphins have historically been known for their speed and coverage ability in the secondary, but with Parsons, they could pivot towards a more hybrid, aggressive defense that blitzes more frequently and disrupts offensive rhythm. Parsons' ability to play multiple roles on defense fits perfectly with modern NFL trends, where versatility is king. On the other side, Ramsey's new team would instantly upgrade their secondary, potentially shutting down the league's top receivers and forcing offenses to rethink their passing strategies. This kind of tactical realignment could have ripple effects across the AFC, impacting how teams prepare and game plan against Miami and the other squad involved. From a financial and contractual standpoint, this rumored trade also raises fascinating questions. Both players are among the highest paid at their positions, and any trade would involve careful navigation of salary caps and contract details. The Dolphins front office, known for its shrewd financial management, would have to balance the desire for immediate impact with long-term salary cap health. Conversely, the team acquiring Ramsey might see this as an investment in a proven star, willing to commit resources to build a defensive juggernaut around him. These financial considerations add another layer of complexity to the rumor, making it clear that if this trade happens, it's the result of extensive behind-the-scenes maneuvering and strategic planning that goes far beyond just player evaluation. The timing of this rumor is also particularly intriguing. With the NFL offseason in full swing, teams are actively reshaping their rosters through drafts, free agency, and trades. A move like trading Ramsey for Parsons now would suggest that the Dolphins and the other team are not only planning for the immediate future, but also positioning themselves to outpace rivals in an increasingly competitive landscape. It's a bold move that indicates confidence in the player's ability to adapt quickly and contribute right away. Sources hint that both sides see this as a rare opportunity to upgrade key defensive positions without giving up draft capital, which makes the trade even more tempting for decision makers. This element of opportunism adds to the excitement and speculation surrounding the rumor. Imagine the reactions from fans, analysts, and players themselves if this trade goes through. Social media would explode with debate. Highlights comparing Parsons and Ramsey would flood timelines, and every NFL analyst would be dissecting the pros and cons for days on end. Fans of the Dolphins might see this as a signal that their team is finally ready to challenge the likes of the Chiefs and Bills, while supporters of Ramsey's new team could celebrate acquiring a defensive cornerstone who could anchor their secondary for years. Players from both teams might feel energized or challenged by the arrival of such high-profile talents, potentially elevating performance levels across the board. The media narrative would be dominated by discussions about who won the trade, adding layers of drama and intrigue to the upcoming season. Looking ahead, the potential trade could also influence future moves across the league. Other teams might be inspired or pressured to make bold trades of their own, leading to a domino effect in roster construction. The exchange of a premier cornerback for a game-changing linebacker could set a precedent for how teams value defensive versatility versus lockdown ability. It might encourage front offices to rethink how they build defenses, possibly prioritizing hybrid players like Parsons who can fill multiple roles. Conversely, it could reinforce the importance of elite, specialized defenders like Ramsey who can change the outcome of games by shutting down top receivers. This evolving perspective on player value would be one of the most fascinating storylines stemming from this trade rumor. Of course, it's important to remember that at this point, it's all speculation and rumor. Trades of this magnitude involve countless variables, including player willingness, medical evaluations, and last-minute negotiations. While insiders hint that talks are serious, nothing is finalized, and there's always a chance that the deal could fall through or take a different shape. Fans should temper their excitement with patience, but also stay tuned, because if this trade happens, it will be one of the most talked about moves in recent NFL history. The Dolphins front office appears to be pulling all the right strings behind the scenes, and the league could be witnessing the dawn of a new defensive era sparked by the potential swap of JALEN Ramsey and MICAH Parsons. In conclusion, this rumor about JALEN Ramsey being traded for MICAH Parsons is the kind of storyline that captures the imagination of football fans everywhere. It's a mix of star power, strategic gambles, and franchise-defining decisions that could alter the NFL landscape for years to come. Whether it happens or not, the discussion alone highlights how dynamic and unpredictable the NFL offseason can be. Miami Dolphins fans might be on the verge of witnessing a historic moment that signals their team's rise to dominance, while the other team involved could also benefit enormously from acquiring a player who redefines their defensive capabilities. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this trade comes through, the NFL will never be the same again. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.